Check 1 2.
Yeah, yeah.
I put it down for the
Hey,
LBC. I put it down for a place called Queens.
hey,
213. I hold it down for the big
hey,
city.
hey.
All the young G's, all the PYTs with their own
Yep.
car keys.
Uh huh.
Down for all the ladies.
Let's go. Let's go. You. Yeah.
It's all about you.
Man, this don't make you feel good. Feel it inside. You just want to move. Let's go. Talk to him, Sadiq. What? Hey. We rocking, y'all. Let's go. Hey, hey, hey. He was through. Hey. Get your West Coast boogie on. Let's go. Let's go. You. Hey, hey. You. Hey, hey, hey. You. Have you. Ooh, ooh. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is the Encompass Podcast. I am your most stupendous, prodigious host, Mr. Pardon My Rude himself. And man, that song just does something to me. Like, I don't know, man. It's just, man, I just want a boogie. Like, I don't know, man. It gets in me. You hear it. It's a feeling. But I have a transparent moment with y'all. You know, this song came out, what, I think 2000? Um, Around the time I was graduating high school. And so, heavy summer song, fire song, Lucy Pearl. But it's resurfaced recently over the years, and there's been a big wave of line dances that's come out. And so, a little bit about me. I'm not the biggest fan of line dances. You know, Cupid Shuffle, Cha Cha Slide, Electric Slide is a classic, but yeah, now I can do all of them, but I'm not the biggest fan. And you got your new joints, your what's the joint? The joint, Boots on the Ground. Yeah, you got that. The Biker Shuffle, a couple other ones. Like my folks, they love them. You know, I'm not gonna tell y'all what I call them, but yeah, I'm good on that. However, there's this new West Coast boogie or West Coast line dance that was made to you. I'm a hypocrite, y'all, and I try not to be, but I'm a hypocrite. I want to learn it just so I can boogie to that song. I love that song. All right, now that I've gone off on that tangent and that rant, let's get this party started. This is the Encompass. I can't even talk, y'all. The Encompass podcast, and yo, it is June. Almost half the year is gone, and I say almost half the year because here at Encompass, I want you to be educated. Don't say half the year is gone. It's only June. 5 months have been completed. 42% of the year is gone. You still have to get through June to get halfway done. Okay. But I'm excited to see what's in store this summer. Um, Plans to finish the year real strong. So, yeah, I'm hyped. It's about to be summertime. It's not official summer yet, the official start of summer, but we're there. Um, as I told you before, I'm always in a stretch of improvement through self improvement for the pod, and thinking of ways I can make this a little bit better. As Big Boy said, making life better than a dope peddler. Looking at ways of making this podcast a little better. So I want to take the current event section and rename it. We're going to just call it Encompass News. So that's where we are. We're going to start this off with Encompass News, and I'm going to start with sports today. I kind of left it off on the last pod, but we're going to go into sports today, and I want to give a shout out and a salute to the end of an era. To an end, I don't want to say end of a legacy, but I guess you can say an end of a legacy and the best sports show ever. Inside the NBA on TNT signed off the last week with the ending of the Pacers and the Knicks series. For those who don't know, their TV rights bids every year, and the NBA on TNT had been there for, I want to say, 20 plus, maybe almost 30 years. And they were outbid and lost their rights. I want to say to Amazon or one of the streaming services. Somebody, this is $1 billion game, and they're spending crazy money for the rights to air these games. Well, TNT lost. Turner Sports lost their rights or were outbid for their rights. There was a little bit of legal wrangling, and in the end, they never got their rights back. However, inside the NBA, in theory, will be moving over to ESPN because this show has been the number one sports show for decades. Emmy winning. So the Emmys are kind of like the Oscars for television, and Emmy award winning shows multiple times over. Um, Simply the best sports show. Won't dig too deep into it, but Kenny, Ernie, Shaq, and Chuck, man, it's TV gold, it's comedic gold, and they'll have you up to 1 o'clock in the morning just seeing what they're talking about. So salute to that gang, and looking forward to see how they push against ESPN trying to ruin their show, because ESPN, yeah, that's what they'll do. Speaking of the NBA, the finals are here, and we have the Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Indiana Pacers, the Midwest championship battle. And if I'm not mistaken, this will be a battle for first time ever NBA champions. I know the Pacers were in ABA champions, but I don't believe they have an NBA championship. In Oklahoma City, which was previously the Seattle Supersonics, do not have one. So this will be a first time championship, but I don't know if I want to watch it. Just not interesting. Just the matchup of the teams. I don't know. I might catch a game or two, but to be fully immersed and entrenched in it, probably not. I'm more of a college basketball fan. From North Carolina, the Hoop State. So we'll see. Moving on, let me tell you, the W is jumping. And for those who don't know, that's the WNBA. It's abbreviated to the W affectionately. But the season is relatively young. It started on May 16th. And we already have Caitlin and Angel drama. So Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese had epic battles in college. Angel got the better of Caitlin with their junior year, where Angel and LSU won the national championship. Um, so yeah, this has been a thing for years. They, being billed as the big rivals, even though they play two different positions, have two different skill sets, two different games. But it's a big deal. It is a big deal, and I know I mentioned in a previous episode about my excitement for the season and the excitement and anticipation of the season all around. And that wasn't just fodder. There's evidence of the excitement. There's an increase in attendance. I think uh, I read that the average attendance over the first week of the season was well over 8,000 average attendance, almost 9,000, which is impressive numbers as they continue to grow. Engagement is up across social media and viewership is up. The Fever, Indiana Fever, and Chicago Sky matchup, which features Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, broke a 25-year viewership record with a whopping 2.7 million viewers for that matchup, according to the New York Times. So for this to break a viewership record that was so long standing continues to speak to the level of excitement that this season is bringing and what there is to look forward to coming this season. So if you're not into the W, I promise you, it's good hoops, it's good excitement, and they could be a bit messy on the personal end as well. So yeah, um, this time of the year, it's real tough unless you're an all around sports fan. Um, it's real tough because the major sports are limited. Hockey is coming up on they're in their playoffs, and actually, I'm gonna give them some respect. They just moved into their championship round, and for those who don't know, the hockey championship is awarded. Um, the trophy, I'll say awarded to, the trophy is called the Stanley Cup. So it's the Stanley Cup series, and the winner for that gets a Stanley Cup trophy. And it's one of the most recognized and revered championship trophies in all of sports. And you have the Florida Panthers versus the Edmonton Oilers. I probably watch a little bit here and there. I'm a bit bitter or pissy, if you want to say. So I'm rooting for the Oilers because the Panthers beat my hometown Carolina Hurricanes. So yeah, let's go Oilers. If you're not into hockey, they're fun. It's a fun sport to watch. I enjoy watching it on TV, but the environment and excitement in person is through the roof, bonkers. So definitely go check out a hockey match or a hockey game if you can in person. And if you're one of those individuals with thin blood, take a jacket because it'll be cold in there. It's a big slab of ice. What you expect? Finally, in sports, Atlanta is about to be bonkers this summer across the board. But to really get us started off, Atlanta is about to host the FIFA Club World Cup, and this is a different situation than the World Cup that's coming to North America next year, which Atlanta will be hosting several matches here. But this is the FIFA Club World Cup where some of the top clubs over the past couple of years from around the world, including the MLS, which is the Major League Soccer organization here in the US, will come to Atlanta to have a tournament to crown the best soccer club from these different leagues. Very exciting time. I plan on catching a couple of matches at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. But as a sports junkie and a sports fan, I can watch any and everything and thoroughly enjoy it. Also, if you get a chance and you've never been to one, go to a soccer match. They're bonkers, insane. even more insane internationally. I was in Cuba. No, I wasn't in Cuba. Woo. I was in Colombia a few years back and went to a soccer match, and what an experience. Um, yeah. But moving off of sports, what I want to call some little life news. I don't want to just to make it seem like it's just political. A lot of it will deal in a political space, but try to throw some life news in there. But I want to start off. Elon is gone. Okay, let me dress that up better. Elon is not dead. He's not gone. He is not gone on the glory. We're not asking who has the body, but Elon is gone from the government. Air quotations. Um, After his time has expired, he has left his position with Doge and moving back into the private sector to tend to his businesses. But I'm a bit skeptical, cynical in his time and dealings as Doge head or Doge czar, or whatever you want to call him, simply because this man, he looks shisty. He looks untrustworthy. And in this capacity, he had access to all kind of information that he should not have been privy to. And in that, it just it says and smells nasty. That's the best way to put it. It sounds, smells nasty. And speaking of Elon, I know I told you about those. Well, before I go there, another SpaceX Starship test flight has blown up. Kaboom! Thank you. Thankfully, these are unmanned test flights. But yeah, this is another one that has been fired and then was on fire, and that's not a good look. And I know I told y'all about Starbase, which was the town that got incorporated, changed their name, and the SpaceX facility takes up majority of the town. But they wanted to do this, of course, being shisty, and really try to manipulate the surrounding area. So recent reports have come out that there were proposals for zoning changes and then measures trying to restrict access for residents to a previously public beach. What does that tell you? These folks are doing some shady business. And of course, now after previously folks saying, "Oh, let's go ahead and incorporate and bring these people in," um, there is questions about potential property rights being taken away, circumvented for the benefit of SpaceX. And so, they let these people come in and take over their trap. Does that sound familiar? Gentrification. Anyway, moving forward in life news, there's a wildfire or wildfires going on in Canada that's impacting parts of the U.S., particularly the states, bordering Canada and the Midwest, the plains in the Midwest. I just pray that the wildfires get put out because I don't want that smoke drifting east and impacting us. I got enough issues with my lungs to not be impacted by smoke coming from Canada. And while I'm on it, I didn't mention this previously, but there was an earthquake in Tennessee. Now, if you did not know this or did not feel it, it was real. It happened. Um, I felt it actually. I was here in my home and I was in the bathroom and I was on my throne of glory and I felt something shaking and I'm like, all right, I'm not getting dizzy, am I? And then next thing you know, my phone is going off alerts about an earthquake in Tennessee that was just south of Knoxville, Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg area. And sure enough, Metro Atlanta, Northern Georgia, was able to feel the effects of that earthquake. So, yeah, I wasn't going crazy and imagining this. But you know what? This wasn't my first time feeling that earthquake. Back in 2011, there was an earthquake with the epicenter being in Virginia, and I was living in North Carolina, and I was actually living on the coast of North Carolina at the beach, and I was at work, and the building that I worked in, there was a train that comes right through the middle of town, and when the train comes through, the building shakes. Well, I'm at work, and the building starts shaking, and everybody's looking around. And it was like, hold on, we don't hear a train. And sure enough, the news reports start coming out that there was an earthquake in Virginia and it could be felt all the way down to North Carolina. So, for someone who enjoys visiting California but never wanted to live there for the sake of earthquakes and often say, hey, I can deal with a hurricane, don't have the earth underneath me shaking and moving, I've experienced or felt the aftershock. I don't know if it's aftershocks or just the effects of earthquakes twice in my life. Wild, very wild. Um, so if you've never felt the earth shake, the ground move, and you weren't just drunk from alcohol, it's a very interesting thing to feel while you're sober. All right. Now, did you even fill out your job application news? Um, there were reports that FEMA employees were a bit concerned because the head of FEMA claimed that he was unaware of the U.S. hurricane season. Yeah, how can the head of an agency that is responsible for providing aid and assistance to those from natural disasters not be aware of one of the most disastrous and costly uh, meteorological seasons in the United States? Like, it doesn't make sense. I just told y'all last episode how aid had been denied to these states. And it's not a good look for states coming up on this hurricane season when the FEMA head states that he wasn't aware of the U.S. hurricane season, which is coming up, and it runs June through November. So, yeah, I hope people are starting to really start thinking for themselves and really start to look and think out loud and wonder to what extent is the Trump administration really starting to implement policies outlined in Project 2025? Like, it was a talking point, and I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole of lies, deception, and conjecture. But yeah, I want people to really start having some open dialogue, if not with themselves, but with everybody else about the true nature of what's going on. This stuff is not random. This stuff is just not mere coincidence. And that leads me right into my second favorite moment, what Trump done did now. And what Trump done did now is him and his cronies are looking to defund NASA and make about a 25% cut in funding to NASA. Hey, Elon, we see what you're doing. You're not fooling anyone. Yeah, let's defund NASA. Let's defund a instrument that has been a vital aspect of many different areas of science, not just space exploration. Um, but yeah, and let's give contracts to SpaceX. We already allow them to uh, take up a bunch of satellites, or uh, Elon and his folks went and got the astronauts who were stuck up in space, although they said they were fine. Um, yeah, this is so much in cutting or trimming the fat of government spending by defunding NASA, but give the contract to SpaceX. Anyway, now what Trump done did next is, or it's not what, well, Trump did do it, but it's what people are doing back in response to what Trump done did. PBS and NPR are not getting punked and not allowing Trump to bully them. They brought or bringing lawsuits against his administration saying, hey, y'all not just going to defund us and take our money easily. You're not running up and tapping my pockets. You're going to have to fight me. But in good news, Netflix is airing Sesame Street. It's airing new episodes as well as uh, different episodes in the Sesame Street library. All while PBS is still airing the new live episodes, and they're premiering concurrently with Netflix and PBS. So salute to that. Um, Easy access. You have the PBS app, but you also have it on Netflix as well for the babies. And next, I'm I started off in transparency. I'll give you some more transparency. I know I told y'all the last episode that I love to laugh. And Donald Trump brings me a lot of laughter. He is funny without even trying, but sometimes it's borderline sad. And this guy shared a conspiracy theory that has been going floating around on his Truth Social network, claiming that President Biden was executed in 2020 and thus replaced by clones and robots. Let's sit here and think about that. This big age man who is the, I guess you say, leader of the free world is sharing conspiracy theories about clones and robots. And he questions somebody's mental capacity. And his supporters wonder why people look at them in bewilderment and just kind of stare. Like, God, it doesn't make sense, man. Now, in more serious news, an appeals court has upheld a block on Trump administration's attempts to downsize the federal workforce. But of course, this administration is running to the Supreme Court, um, looking to have them, I don't want to say repeal, but get rid of this block so that they can continue to downsize and inconvenience and impact people's day to day lives because these agencies are understaffed and overworked. Um, and of course, Trump has been able to stack the Supreme Court in his favor. So there's been some rulings that make people scratch their heads, but we understand why they happened. Um, and then it came out that his administration will look to prioritize patriotic Americans in consideration of federal jobs. Now, this these are big air quotations. I want to say flashing air quotations of patriotic Americans because is that code for people who just agree with me? Uh, Things that make you go, yeah, I'm just yeah. Like I'm really flabbergasted. I'm flabbergasted because people truly follow this man like cult like. It gives David Koresh in Waco. If you don't know who that is, go look it up. That takes me back and shows my age. But anyway, my final piece of what Trump done did now and what Trump, and I'm just saying what Trump done did now because he is the forefront and the foreperson of his administration. But a lower court halted the deportation of a pro Palestinian activist. Said, hey, chill out. Y'all can't just deport him simply because he's speaking out against something that you don't support or care for. But good old Trump fashion, they should buddy out anyway. After the court said no, which this is a breach of the balance of powers. That's why there is a judicial, a legislative, and an executive branch to keep checks and balances in place. But this administration is saying poo poo to you on your checks and balances. So we'll see how that plays out. But I just, I I, I continue to scratch my head at the blatant and utter disregard for um what's the word I'm looking for rules, regulations, and standards that have been set many years ago by the Constitution. Forget anybody else. There's questions of ethics, there's questions of activities and different things, but aside from the corruption, you're not even following the Constitution and the rules and regulations that's set forth by that. Like, how crazy is that, man? It just it blows my mind. But who am I? I'm just a little guy with a podcast, spewing my thoughts. Yeah. Now, another transparency moment. I am one where I am a registered independent. I'm not registered Democrat, not registered Republican. Um, I I voted straight ticket one time many years ago, but since then have allowed myself to be a bit more informed when making certain decisions. Is there any way to be fully 100% informed about every little thing? No. My brothers at Partner Politics actually touched on this a bit. I want to say, if not this, I think episode 21, in reference to us voting too much in the United States. You have local elections, you have your state elections, and you have your federal elections, and you're voting every 2 years, every 4 years, it seems like every time you turn around, there's something to vote on, and to live your life, to go day to day, and then try to know every little nuance and nook and cranny is taxing. Number one, two, darn near impossible. So I implore you just to be informed on those important areas, on those heavy areas, um, the best that you can. And if you can't have that information yourself, find a trusted source who can help you um, in that capacity because you can't do it by yourself. So, with that, we're going to move to our favorite, not just mine, but our favorite segment of the show. And that is, you know it, our top segment. Here we go. La 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 la. Ah, 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 ah. Top of the world. Here we are in our top seven. And I'm gonna let y'all in on a little secret. Most of the time, I try to lead or start the podcast off with a song that is either relating to, touching on, or um, impacting the top segment. So it kind of gives you an idea where I'm heading. And although the Lucy Pearl song, is about being infatuated with an individual. For me, besides the impact of making me want to dance and just feel good, I wanted to put the emphasis on you. Yes, you. Johnny, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike. Tasha, Kayla, Linda, Felicia, Arnez, and Alicia. All of y'all. You. Look at yourself and then take what I'm saying and truly um, apply it to self. Um, but with this top segment, my spirit is just so full, it's so bubbling right now. I can't explain it. Even with my life's current circumstances and the current circumstances of life for my family, there's an internal feeling of anticipated explosion. And it's kind of like when you have a soda and you're trying to get to it and you fumble it and you drop this soda and you pick it up, but you're thirsty, you're ready to get to it, and you'll sit down for a little bit, but you're not sure if it's settled yet. So you take that soda and go over the sink and you turn that cap and you're anticipating that soda to erupt. That's how I wanted to describe um, how I'm feeling inside right now. I don't know what it is. I don't know why, but I have that feeling inside of me that something's about to erupt. And this is not a negative thing in any way. I'm not suppressing emotions and suppressing feelings and I'm about to snap. This is an eruption of amazing awesomeness. Um, so, what I want to talk to you today about is living in expectation. So, again, this is about you and only you. I may mention me, but I want you to take that and apply it to yourself. Fill your name in. However, you need to flip it to make it applicable to you. It's about you. Take it and run with it. So now, I've already told you there's about 58% of the year left that you can make a significant impact on your life. Like how I play with those numbers, bars. Anyway, I don't care what it is. But what I want you to do is make a difference for you. If you set a goal and you've been dragging your feet, if you want to do something, summer's about to come up. You don't have the summer body that you want. Guess what? That's perfectly fine. You can start now to be ready for next summer. You can start now to just make an impact and difference on your life. You don't gotta have the best body unless you got like $10,000 sitting around and you can go get a surgery and in a month and a half, you're wearing your faja and you're, you know, summer body ready by the end of summer, then go for it. But if you don't, and I'm not knocking surgery, I just don't want you looking like Ant's life. But if you want to go get some surgery, go. You can afford it. Go do it. Salute. But I want you to do something that you've been putting off, something that you want to do that's going to impact you. For me, starting this podcast was living in expectation. Um, I don't know what this podcast is going to grow into, but what I do know is that I'm going to impact someone. I don't know how much of an impact. I've had people reach out to me telling me they appreciate my content and some episodes is what they needed to hear to keep them pushing. And that's a fantastic and that's what I'm doing it for. Uh, However, I walk in the expectation that I do this, that I'm going to make a difference in somebody's life. And if I'm making a difference in somebody's life, if this reaches 1 million people or this reaches 15 people, I'm happy. Plus, I like talking. And if you really know me, I like hearing myself talk. So this is a win-win-win for me in doing this podcast because I feel I have what it takes to help someone and make a difference in their life. But let's break this thing down a little bit. Let's understand that when you live in expectation, you have a sense of anticipation of the future. And it's not just an anticipation, but a hopeful anticipation. And I want you to hang on to that hopeful. Now, somebody might say, well, isn't expectation expectancy? Yes, but no. Now, there's a slight difference there. So, it's definition time. Expectation, a strong anticipation that something will happen or it will be the case in the future. Expectancy is an anticipatory belief or desire for something good to happen. You hope it. There's an expectancy and hope that it's going to happen. I liken it to my faith in God, my belief in God. So in my terms, my expectation is followed by action and works. I have a demand on my life. And with this demand, I have to do something. I can't just sit here and expect this to happen without any work. While expectancy, like I said, I'm resting in my belief of God's blessings on my life in his time and how he sees fit. But I know he'll always be there and have me covered. I don't know how many of y'all, if you were raised similarly to me or been around some of the same kind of people I've been around, you've seen the footprints, picture, poster, mural, whatever, where I've seen two sets of footprints. And as I continue to go, I see only one. Simple as that. If you've never seen it, look it up. It's a classic. It's definitely a classic. And I think it's called Footprints. So that's what expectancy is for me. Those footprints where he is carrying me when I can no longer go myself. There's a level of my life that he has planned out for me. However, there's an area where I can um, expedite those blessings by putting in the works. There's some things that I want to do for me that I have to work at. Without that work, it doesn't happen. Now, you just can't sit there and think you're Isaac Newton under a tree and, the apple falls on your head, or you're Chicken Little and something falls out of the sky and hits you on your head. That's not expectation. You have to put foot to ground and put in the work. And with the work that you do, there's a reward behind that work. So you're expecting something will happen. Now, sometimes with those expectations and that work, It may not always be good, but there is a result that comes from that. And we talked about it before. Analyzing, evaluate, and reworking and get moving. Okay. Now, I have to tell you, there must be a control on your expectation as well. You have to have realistic expectations. You can't just be asinine and delusional with your expectations. Case in point, I'm out of shape. No, let me correct that. Round is a shape, not out of shape. I'm just not a physical specimen of revered uh, top physical health. Let's put it that way. We'll dress it up and put lipstick on the pig. But anyway, I can't expect right now in my current state um, to go out there and just run a Spartan race. Y'all will be reading about me in the news and saying I'll kind of post about me on Facebook while in your private conversations calling me a dummy and a fool, knowing good and well I should have took my butt out there to try to do no Spartan race without training. However, if I put in the work, if I train, why should I not have an expectation to go out here and have a successful um, challenge or approach to this Spartan race? I put in the work. This is no different than your relationships and being realistic. Now, I always have to remind you, and if it sounds like a broken record, I don't care. In this space, this is not just the love aspect of relationships. Let's not get lost in love. Relationships are many different dynamics. Um, this could be applicable to the love aspect, but we here at Encompass, we want the full spectrum. So it's work relationships, friend relationships, business relationships, intimate relationships, be it emotional or physical, familial relationships. The expectation that you have should be based off the work that you put in. Simple as that. Now, with expectation, you do get disappointment. You do have people who let you down when you operate in expectation. But if they let you down, guess what? You learn. I can't count on them to either reciprocate or stand on the same standard that I have in regards to whatever dynamic you put in front of you. But that should not deter you. That should be a learning experience for you in knowing how to move forward. That's uh, that's the best way I could put it. Live and walk in expectation. Expect more for yourself. Expect better for yourself, but not just expect it. Put work to it. Whatever you want, go get it. Don't just sit on your butt. Put in the work. And I know I've shared before, but my grandmother gave me the motto for my life, the mission statement for my life. The only place you're going to find success before work is in the dictionary. Walk in that expectation, live in that expectation, operate in that expectation. It's time to get it going, and I'm here with you. Let's push forward. Um, let's be better. We got 58% left. Don't waste it. Now, as I close in this podcast, I want to say I am very, very excited. And I think this is a podcast of hypocrisy for me. Um, I'm not going to name it the Hypocrisy Podcast. But I started with hypocrisy I'm going to end with hypocrisy because I want to say I like to make moves instead of announcements, but I'm very excited about the next pod. And I'm not going to tell you what it is. You got to show up and find out. But it's going to be dope. There's something special planned, something exciting planned, and I can't wait for you all to experience it. So, with that, may the Lord watch between me and thee. And remember, if nobody loves you, Jesus loves you, and Tupac does too. Be blessed.